Thank you for keeping it here on Morning at NTV. Stephen Imbide on Fefeswe Chibuga, now coming to you live from Chiengeda. This is a place that I also grew up from, but that is a matter for another day. But this morning I'm going to be speaking to the Minister of Defense spokesperson, also the UPDF spokesperson, that is Brigadier General Flavia Byekwaso, because there are so many issues that touch on security matters. And now we know that at least two members of parliament, that is Kawempe North Member of Parliament, Muhammad Segirinya, and Machinde West Member of Parliament, Alan Alozia Sewanyana, are still in detention. These people were released on bail after court declared that they should get some temporary freedom, but they were rearrested, or call it they were kidnapped, because in some circles people see it as a kidnap, and from the security circles they say they were rearrested. But what's the matter? What are they being charged with that is beyond our face value? Brigadier General, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning, midday.
Thank you for accepting to speak to us this morning. But before the public, you, the security forces, are using what they would term as high-handedness in arresting these people of dignity. Because they are members of parliament, you would summon them through the Speaker of Parliament, but the manner of rearresting them, or kidnapping them, is way beyond their of life.
Thank you for that question, and I don't know, because I'm not part of the arresters, so I don't know how high-handedness they were, but I know sometimes, depending on the nature of offense or conduct, someone may lose their dignity a little bit. But of course, it's not proper. If, like what you're saying is correct, it's not proper that members of parliament should be mishandled. Yes, they deserve their respect. And if at all it happened that they were not handled in a way that befits their status in society, then it's very unfortunate. But we would also question why they would be in such. Yes, because as leaders, as members of parliament, as people of high status, I mean, we must not them, but all of us, we must have impeccable character when it comes to a leader. A leader must somehow, to a greater extent, must not actually be anywhere near things of that nature. That would make them end up in a way lose some bit of that dignity we're talking about.
What exactly do you mean when you say they shouldn't get near to something that will lose their dignity? What exactly do you mean?
I mean, you're the one who is saying that they were handled not in a way that befits a member of parliament, that these are people of high sounding, status, therefore that the way the manner they were handled in was not all that commensurate with who they are. And therefore this is what I'm saying, that actually it calls for any leader to avoid, because like the adage says that there's no smoke without fire. By the time they suspect you in certain things, I'm not saying they are guilty, but even when suspecting them a little bit, I think it's something that we should all shun as leaders, as members of parliament for that matter.
I'll take you, for example, for Alan Sewanyana, when he was being arrested, kidnapped on Thursday. Some security forces or security officers even went to the extent of pointing a gun at him. He didn't even resist arrest. He just got down, and he even tried to point a gun at him. This was way out of your conduct.
I agree with you. I agree with you. There's no reason why when you're arresting someone with no gun, you have to point a gun at them. That is not proper, and whoever did so actually should be investigated. Yes, but because this is not conduct that we want to condone. No.
But exactly, do you mean that this is going to be, you're going to take action? Because you may stop at just at saying this shouldn't be, maybe you could just stop at condoning, but no action will be taken from for your officers.
No, I'm not in that. I'm not a disciplinary committee. I'm not a part of the disciplinary committee. But I mean, like you're saying, me, I didn't see. But if that's what happened, because it's not, that is illegal. Why would you point a gun at someone who is not even holding a gun, someone who is not resisting arrest? Because we've been told under what circumstances, for example, someone should use force when you're arresting. That is only when someone is resisting arrest. But if someone isn't resisting arrest, then there is no reason why that and pulling out guns and pointing fingers and tagging, no, it's not there, and it shouldn't be.
From your preliminary investigations, these members of parliament who are of high status, how are they connected to the charges that you are linking them to?
I'm not privy to the court proceedings. I'm not privy to the investigations. Therefore, I wouldn't tell you how they are connected. Yes.
Let me take you back to Masaka sub-region, where at least we know that some of the cases stem from Masaka, at least those we know. You joined as the UPDF or such key statutory officers, joined the Uganda police in investigating what is happening there, and you were able to, at least for now, temporarily put a stop to the Bijambia killings. What exactly happened in Masaka?
I think this is a story that we all know, that for some time there was a wave of Bijambia. But today we are happy to say that at least, oh my God, from the time security beefed up, we haven't had any new scenarios or any new incidents. And I think I can put this on account of really not us stepping up, but the population becoming more vigilant, the population with proper coordination with the population, and the population taking up the fight themselves, divulging information, being ready and volunteering information, and joining with us. But of course, also us covering gaps, increasing change in deployment. These people were in areas where it would be easily not reachable. They wouldn't operate near roads, for example, or near tarmac where you can easily reach them, but they would prefer in areas that are a bit remote, such that by the time we reach, an incident has happened and the person has already ran away. But then that one, we put up, we called it motorcycle brigade, such that all the time the people, they can be reached in an instant. We increased surveillance, patrols were increased. So generally there have been a lot of, both from the civilian foundation security and also the security sector coming together, proper coordination, covering gaps and covering lapses, and this is what we are seeing today.
The two members of parliament, Alan Sewanya and Muhammad Segirinya, when they were being rearrested, they were put in inside the drones. These vans were so notorious, were so visible during the time of campaigns and elections, and now we see them, you as security forces using them again. And we're going back to the times when people are saying that, yes, that time of Pandagali, and of course the president is on record saying that, talking about human rights, the way you're supposed to handle as security forces, handle human rights, and you abusing the principles that you came into power fighting for.
I don't think so. The use of drone, to me, drones are vehicles. Drones are just a means of transport. They would use a pickup, they would use it's choice of a vehicle. I mean, I don't see about the issue of you using either choosing to use a drone or choosing to use a pickup or choosing to use a bus or choosing to use a military vehicle, those ones. So to me, it's not an abuse, but like I'm saying, where there are excesses, of course we need to check ourselves, where there are excesses, if at all they are there. And yes, and it's not Pandagali. Yes,
but the reason as to why I'm asking you that, particularly, is during the time of the trial for those who are alleged to have killed Brenda, the daughter to General Edward Katumba Mara, they say they were tortured, and when they were in court, you could visibly see some marks of torture, and these they are saying they were tortured under the arms of the security circles, and this exactly what the president was condoning. You as a security forces, the way you handle suspects, and they were also, and this Segirinya and Alan Sewanyana were also put under the same van.
Like I've said, to me the van doesn't make a difference. The van, I mean, what contribution has the van done? It's the human being who is using the van, and it's the same human being would use it as a pickup, would use it as anything. So to me, the van has no problem. Second, you're talking of, you said the president condoning or condemning?
Rather condemn.
Yeah, it's condemning, and I would also say that really being a security force that observes law, being a security force that is out there to defend the Constitution, being a force that is ideologically oriented towards the person and the freedom and the democracy that we all anchor for. The question of torture, definitely, as the Commander-in-Chief has said, it goes without, there's no doubt that it shouldn't arise. But I know perhaps there are some instances where maybe the security forces or whoever is dealing with these people, these are diehards. These are criminals who are diehards. So they're not easy to deal with. Sometimes they're not easy to deal with. For you, it is easy to talk about it because you're not there, in there. But sometimes, I'm sure, the security forces may be overstretched, but all said and done, we condemn torture, absolutely.
Talking about these people who are suspects who are under your arms, the president says you as the security forces, your ideology is an eye for an eye. But we are supposed to be a democratic country whereby we run by constitutionalism and rule of law. Don't you think that you as the security forces, going by that ideology of an eye for an eye, this denies the people their right to bail?
I think if there is a protector of freedoms of people, if there is a protector of human rights, if we have a protector and a person who believes in democracy, it is that person you're talking about. I do not believe that he has ever, or he believes in an eye for an eye, but he only believes in people getting justice, or the other ones being, yes, actually it is about justice, or the other ones, the offended, getting somewhat unequal kind of measure when it comes to how is this one being punished. That is why he usually has that famous guy in the bush that he went to drink and then he killed, and said if he killed 3 people, then he should also pay with his life. Not that he believes in an eye for an eye, but yes, if you do offend, you have lost, you have killed persons. Out of, you're not fighting, you're not on duty, but because you're drunk or because of your misconduct, you end up, taking away life. Then for you, why would you still also want to enjoy your life? So it's it's along that line. That's why for him he was saying that he wished we could go into that system, other than having people who kill, other than people who rob, other than people who defile, but then when they go to court, in 1 day or 2, they are given bail, they are back on the streets. Meanwhile, the others are grieving, the other, they've lost a person, they are grieving, they've lost their property, they've been maimed. So that is where he said we need a balance.
Yes, but giving them bail doesn't necessarily mean that they will not return or will not be subjected to the arms of the courts of law. But as we wind up this conversation, you have been a legislator before, representing the UPDF in the parliament, and this matter of giving bail to those who are charged with capital offences like murder and treason is likely to go before the parliament of Uganda because the president has summoned the NRM caucus. What would you tell those members of parliament as they go to deliberate about this issue of giving bail to suspects? I don't want so much to go into issues of politics and issues of law because I'm not an expert there. But yes, because when I read the president was very categorical, and he said, at least for some time, at least deny them for round time to allow, and he mentioned a certain period of time. First of all, it allows tempers to cool down. Secondly, it also touches, because this person
who has done this capital, who has made this capital offense, should also be able to feel that you don't only do because they are courts, they are going to give me bail, because there are people who deliberately know that even if I do so, after all, they are going to give me bail. And once they're out, there's too much possibility of them influencing how the thing goes. There's too much, you're likely to get someone peddling through the thing. There is someone, you are giving chance for someone to kill the evidence. So he only talked about a period of time. And to me, I think it's okay. Because the period, how many, I saw how many, what is 180 days? What is equivalent in terms of months?
4 months.
4 months. What is 4 months for someone who has killed? What is 4 months for someone who has raped? For you, you're only talking about your freedom, but you'll have left a mark, a permanent mark on someone whom you have offended. Okay. A girl that was raped will never recover from that rape or defiled, will never recover from that defilement.
Finally, very finally, will Alan Sewanyan and Segirinya face the court martial because they are still under they are still under detention under your detention facilities?
That is for the.
Well, that's it for this edition of Morning at NTV. It's been an insightful journey from 6:30 a.m.